Right, Fraser, just back from the FIFPRO annual congress last week. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, it's great. Every year, FIFPRO, the World Players Union, big strong organisation, we get together as a group. There was 75 countries, 75 unions from across the world gathered, and we find that we've got a lot of common ground. We've all got the same problems with the clubs and the governing bodies, and it was good to meet so many old friends that I've known for many, many years there. But a complete restructuring of FIFPRO. We've gone through a real tough process to bring our board down. It's now only 12 members of the board, of which I am one. I was elected by the European unions to represent them on the board, which I'm really honoured to do, and looking forward to operating at that high level. We've got new executive come in as well, new general secretary, new senior positions in the staff as well. So I think all in all it went really well, really positive, and a really exciting time for FIFPRO in the coming years, given one or two of the recent court cases at the European Court of Justice.
And just mentioned just there, but now on the board, can you tell us a bit more about the project you'll be working on and how that's maybe related to PFA Scotland and the ongoing issues in the game?
Yeah, I think it'll be really helpful for PFA Scotland in particular, but also for Scottish football that I'm on the board, because we deal directly with FIFA. Workload has been a huge thing, and we've spoken about this on this update before, which affects, of course, the big name players, but will have an impact on Scottish football, and workload has an impact on our players as well. So that's a major topic that we're dealing with in negotiations with FIFA. Also, recently, not really been picked up on, but the Lassana Diarra case, where he won his case at the European Court of Justice. Complicated decision, but what it means is there's going to be changes to the transfer system. What it said was you can't have rules that impede people from moving from one club to another. And also you can't have rules where the compensation is unknown as well. So basically, we're going to have a new transfer system. What that's going to look like, none of us really know, but it'll have to fit in with European law. So really interesting time ahead. I'll be involved in those negotiations with FIFA to reset the transfer system. It's not really been picked up on here, but it will have an impact on Scottish football. And we're not against a transfer system per se, but we think there has to be clearer guidelines and clearer compensation, and perhaps a bit of a fairer one for footballers.
And if we just break that down a wee bit further, obviously these changes are going to happen immediately. They'll happen at some point over the next couple of years. But if you can break it down for us in terms of how this is going to impact players, whether it be full-time or part-time, moving to their new clubs.
Well, I think we're all kind of feeling our way in the various bodies. If you look at the leagues and the clubs and the FAs, FIFA, UEFA, ourselves as FIFPRO, we're all kind of thinking, right, where is this going to go? And our position is that basically, at the moment as it stands, this decision means you can't have rules that impede freedom of movement. We talk about that in a European sense, and although we're no longer within the European Union, it will affect us, our players as well. So you can't have rules that impede them, and also you can't have rules where the compensation is unknown, the transfer fee is unknown, especially for those who are perhaps out of contract. So we have a view that there needs to be a transfer system. Of course, we need to redistribute the money throughout football, but when you think of the money just now, it all goes to the big clubs and the big players and the big agents. We want to redistribute that money further, all the way down through the pyramid, down to our clubs that compete in Europe and beyond that as well. So there's a lot to discuss over the coming period, and that's why I'm really excited by being elected onto the board, because I'll be front and centre of all of that negotiations.
Fantastic, and obviously some interesting developments across the board there. We've mentioned a couple of times in terms of health-related projects as well. Can you tell us a wee bit about some other things that are happening in Scotland at the moment?
Yeah, well, we've had there's been in the last couple of days there's been new research come out about dementia in football and neurodegenerative disease in football, which we've been at the forefront of. Research came out a few years ago that showed that myself as an ex-professional footballer, I think you're up to 5 times more likely to get these types of diseases than other members of the public, and we didn't really know why. Was it heading? Was it traumas? Was it lifestyle? Which lifestyle when you retire, things to do with loneliness and depression and obesity and alcohol and just general fitness, they can all have an effect as well. But further research, which is really important, came out today to say that these lifestyle factors are not particularly worse in football players than those in society. So we're heading down the route of really getting to the nub of where footballers are more liable to pick up neurodegenerative disease, which I think is a good thing. And then we have to look at, I think we're ahead of the game in Scotland. I think the rules and regulations, the guidance that's been brought in by the Scottish FA has been good in terms of heading at training at professional level and heading and not hitting the ball when you're a younger player. But from our perspective now, it's about tightening up those regulations and getting together and learning from this research and trying to protect those that play the game, especially professionally, when you're heading the ball every day at training.